friends, I'm Prairie Vintage. My name is Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirits, my intuition, the tarot to communicate energies to you guys, most amazing viewers. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome, welcome. I'm so grateful that you found me. And for those of you guys returning, I'm so blessed to be here doing your reading yet again today. For those of you guys who have not been here before, it's your first time to tarot, please take a listen to the disclaimer, which will be at the back end of this whole video. So we're doing a pick a card reading, and we're looking at 4 areas of your world. Okay, so I've done one of these readings before for you guys, seem to like it. We're looking at the Wands, Pentacles, Cups, and Swords, which represent the 4 different aspects of your world. Okay, Wands representing career, inspiration, passions, any sort of desires you might have. Okay, could also represent career or creations. And then we'll be looking at the practical aspects of your world, finances, career. There could be overlap, certainly in all areas. Okay, but Pentacles definitely represents the material world. Okay, so if you're dealing with certain jobs or where you live, how you live, that sort of thing. And then with the cups here, which is represented by the hearts, we'll be looking at relationships. So friendships, family, connections, relationships, whatever pulls through the emotional body. And then with swords, we'll be looking at your thoughts. Okay, any sort of actions you take, any sort of revelations you might have, and that sort of thing. So definitely overlap in all 4 areas. Now, this is a pick a card. And so you will be picking one of these aces. And within that ace, we will look at these 4 aspects. Okay, so let's say, for example, if you pick the Ace of Swords, it doesn't mean we're just looking at your thoughts and your actions. This is going to be looking at all 4 of these aspects, but under this pick. Okay, so you can be drawn to any 4 of these. You could be drawn to multiple picks. It doesn't really matter here, okay? And I am trying to do this sort of in line with the actual new year with the spring here. So the aces do represent new beginnings, okay? So what we're looking at really is there a new beginning? Is there something you're closing out? Or is there something you're continuing on, throughout this new year? And so anything pulling through as a new beginning will be reflected in that area, okay? Or if you're still closing something out, maybe we're needing to understand certain things or fulfill certain things before we can move on to the next part, okay? So this is all about continuing, starting new, or closing out certain cycles within that world that we're really going to be kind of addressing or looking at. Okay, so let's take a look at the cards that we're using for this reading. So we'll be using the anagram oracle, which doesn't come in a box. So I'm holding up this card so you can see where to order that from. And we'll be using the Wild Unknown Alchemy cards. And we'll be selecting from these 4 aces, which is the Inner Child cards, Fairy Tale Tarot. Okay, so we will look at outside circumstances as well that might interfere. Okay, other people may be interfering, or just the energy around that situation will be pulling through with the anagram card. So I'll let you sit here with these 4 aces. Take your time. There's no wrong answer, but as usual, use your intuition over mine, and certainly don't take every message. It has to resonate with your pile. Best ways to come up with what you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether that pile makes sense to you. If it is not something you want to take from the universe, then you don't have to. Go to another pile or just don't claim it. All right, so I will see you at your pick. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 1, pick number 1. You guys are the Ace of Wands group. And we'll be looking at the other aces as well in your world. But like I mentioned, this represents your passions, your inspirations, your creations, maybe your career, anything you're pursuing creatively, or anything like this will pull through with the wand suit. Okay, what gets you sort of fired up here? So are we starting anything new? Are we closing something out? Or are we continuing through an existing sort of project? Let's take a look and see what Spirit wants to show you. So for pile number one, in regards to the wand suit here, their passions, what is the overall energy that pile one is coming into in regards to their creations and their inspirations? What does pile one need to know about this area of their world? Spirit, please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number one. Thank you so much, pile one, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here. This pile one needs to know about this part of their world, part of their life. Okay, and then we'll look at energy, external energies that we might have to deal with, either other people or in the circumstance itself. Oh my goodness, you guys. Oh, Spirit's got jokes. We have the Ace of Wands and we have prostitution. Don't take words literal here, okay? So collective plague, number 65. That's the number. At least it's not number 69. So we have number 11, a very spiritual number. Okay, prostitution. So degrading behavior, depravity, scam, pimping, belittlement, and manipulation. So remember, this is external sort of energies we're having to sort of deal with here. So let's take a look what that's all about, okay? The Sun, Leo energy. Judgment in reverse, which is saying almost two opposite sort of things here, because the Sun is all-knowing, all-seeing, all-understanding, and judgment in reverse is sort of almost like an in denial or not seeing. Interesting. And then we have the Knight of Wands. So lots of fire, which is certainly in line with the wand suit. We have Mercury, which is all about communication. So we have Virgo, Gemini energy. And we have sparks of light, which symbolizes actually this Ace of Wands. It's like a match here. So, or like, you know, striking a match. So let me read this energy and connect to what Spirit is talking about here. Okay. So I do feel for a lot of you guys, there is an understanding of your passion or what's calling to you. Okay, I feel like there is a knowing of this. I think it's very clear to this group, whoever's picked this Ace of Wands. You know, like if you were pursuing being a singer, then you kind of know what that looks like, or a writer, you'd know. I feel like for a lot of you guys, it could certainly involve writing or speaking, presenting yourself in that sort of way, but not necessarily all of you guys, but for some of you guys. But this is symbolizing contracts and officially sort of making things official. I feel like you're in the blind as to how to cross the T's and dot the I's to make something official here. So I feel like there's something in your mind that you know would make you happy. It's most likely your childhood dream, or you have like an inner calling for this thing. But right now I feel like hasn't progressed past a seed, you know, a seed of hope. It's like you have a a burning desire to do this thing, but like an Ace of Wands is just the start of something. Now, if you have clicked on this pile and you're not sure what this is, this could talk about all of a sudden getting like a flash of inspiration coming to you of something that you never even thought of. You know, like suddenly it's like, ooh, yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to pursue this thing, or I'm going to pick up the pen and write this book. Or, you know, if you've been in like writer's block, it's like you'll get the piece that you finally come up with to put together, or the lyrics to the next piece. Okay, for those of you guys who are already practicing that thing, but might be feeling a lull. Because I do feel for this group, there is just a lull in like formalizing, but this is talking about like, you know, really understanding what sort of contracts we're signing and what is not spoken as well here, what is not seen or understanding. So I feel like there is there's a not seeing for some reason here. Could be the practical stuff here, or it depends on an external that we have no control over. Yeah, so I feel like you have a vision or an understanding, and I feel like you're not willing to compromise. And you might be in a position where you could, you know, sign any contract, but that would be going either in a different direction or doing something that it's not really aligned. And so you feel like you'd be selling your craft in some way. So it's like, if I sell it to this producer, or if I go with this, you know, like publishing house, it's like, it's not really representative of your image, you know. Or I could go play music at this like venue, but it's not really aligned with my audience. So there's something of this going on here, which I feel could certainly be getting in the way of momentum. And so I really think Spirit is talking about being very studious when it comes to signing contracts, or understanding who you're dealing with, that they have the same vision that you have, and that you guys are of like minds, so that when you do publish that book or go, you know, perform or work under that platform, it has the same vision or understanding of what your vision is. Because I feel like, and for some of you guys, you might get very excited about something all of a sudden and not do enough background, and then you sign like a year contract with something because you're excited to get started, but it's like, it's not the right platform. And so this could also look like, for example, like if we have like an e-commerce shop or something like this, but then we sign with the wrong like back-end platform, and it's like, this is more for blogging, but I have product I want to sell, and now it's like, oh, and I should have understood or read between the lines here a little more. So there is an overzealous sort of energy, but in this energy, I do feel like there's something new coming through for sure. So if you've been stuck in a lull, you'll have an inspired, creative thing pull through. If you haven't been working on something here and it's only been like a seed of hope, I feel like Spirit is really talking about you coming to understand like who there is around you that could not be the best to align with, and do like your due diligence and understanding who you can work with to make this a creative thing. I do feel for those of you guys who've been sitting in this state for some time, this might be your hesitation. Like, I'm not taking it off the ground. And I feel it's stuck here, if I got to be honest. So you'll know if you've been here for a while. So this is why we use tarot, right? Like, do we want to be stuck with an idea? for another year, another whatever. And Spirit's saying, like, start looking into, like maybe you're looking in the same places or with the same people or the same thing, where it's like, look at what you're not looking at. That should help you to move this idea and make it a reality, because I do feel it does connect to something you really enjoy. And that, if you know for sure it's what you enjoy and you're certain of this, then it's time to take action on this instead of feeling like stuck or you don't know how to do the ropes or the ins or outs and you're sort of just mulling it over. It's like, do it from the same fire you have about that creative passion. That will pull you through figuring out any sort of things that aren't very clear to you right now. It will become clear, because we don't know right off the start when we're starting our website right off the hop, where there's a lot of unknowns. And it's like, it's okay to sort of learn as we go, but there is a need to sort of investigate, cross our T's, dot our I's. So let's take a look at the second ace here, which is the Ace of Crystals. Okay, that's the Ace of Pentacles. So that is around your practical world, the material world. It could be your finances, your career, your job, where you live, and that sort of thing. So let's take a look. Let's use these ones first. Spirit, for pile number 1, in regards to their practical world, their material world, their career and their finances. Oops, I dropped a card. This one fell. What does pile 1 need to know about any new beginnings, anything they're closing out, any major information they're needing to know regarding their practical world? Thank you so much, spirits, for this message. Pile number 1. I just heard there hasn't been a whole lot of change here for some time. And maybe you've been at the same job for some time, or something here seems to be taking some time. Maybe living in the same place for a long time. Ooh, look at all these cards. Compulsion, ideal. We'll read that one. So that's going to be the external energy that we might be dealing with in regards to this area. So it's a strength. Straight talk, vitality, fight, power, control, and courage. So it's the strength card in the tarot. Okay, similar energy coming through. A Leo. So we have Ash, 33. 33 is a master number. Reproduction, creativity, humor, Christ consciousness, joy, and harmony. And we have Against Nature with number 56. Number 11 coming through again. And you guys had that in your first part. We have the 9 of Coins. Look at that, 9 of Coins. And we have the 5 of Coins in reverse. And we have the 8 of Coins in reverse. Okay. Okay. This one message is a lot clearer than the other one. This is talking about you maybe not being in the ideal state. Like, potentially your job wasn't paying you like for your worth. There's been a period, I feel, of darkness potentially when it comes to your material world here. I think that's all going to change. And I think it's going to change not because of anything spectacular you're going to do in this period of time. I think it's going to change because you've been pretty resilient and you've been at your you've been pretty resilient in the states that you have been in. You haven't thrown in the towel. You've been pretty consistent here. So I feel as a result of your past efforts, okay, I do feel like Spirit is rewarding you here with this 9 Pentacles, because 9 Pentacles is having it all, really, like being in the optimal state. And so I feel like there's a flip here of getting out of not feeling completely fulfilled to feeling completely fulfilled in a position that you've always sort of wanted to achieve or attain. So this is like, finally, I got the position I wanted at my work, you know, or finally I got the increase that reflects how much I'm making, or finally I added to the extension of my home to make it suitable for me to feel like, okay, this is, you know, reflective of where I want to live. But I feel like there's this something going from a limiting state to a fulfilled state. And I don't feel like you're having to do anything different. So it's not like all of a sudden you, like, even if it's a different job, it's like it's doing the same thing, but do they pay you like way more? You know, or like I said, like I gave the home like an extension. So you've already done the renovations, so now you get to enjoy them, but that work is behind you. Like there's no extra effort that you're having to do. I feel like as a result of, like, this is really talking about, like, for me in this reading is like, you know, when we're doing like construction or building our home, it's like we have to sacrifice for like a year while the home's being built. It's like you've shown a level of, you know, like tenacity there and remain strong in whatever deficient state you're in. So it's like maybe you continue to work at the same job even though they weren't paying you, or you knew that eventually you'd get promoted, but you'd have to be sort of the underdog for a year or two, or you had to do like a practicum or something like before you got your, you know, I don't know, like there's something here about now you get to the reward. So either you've graduated from something, or you got promoted, or you completed the build, but it's as a result of past energy, I feel here. And so I feel like whatever wasn't producing, I feel is actually going to produce without you having to bust yourself. Because I feel in the past you've had to like really grind it out. Okay, and I don't feel this is the case here at all. And so I don't know what's changed, but I feel like this is something coming to a final state here. Yeah, it's like you're seeing the end of the rainbow now. You can enjoy the process, or you've gone through the process. You can enjoy the final stage or the reward now, you know? Yeah. So this is what I'm seeing for this part of your reading, pile number 1. Let's take a look at the next part, which is the Ace of Cups. So are we starting new love? Are we ending anything? Are we continuing on from where we left off? What's going on with your friends, family? What does Spirit want to show? So let's start with these again. Pile number 1. In their emotional house, with their relationships, what are they needing to know right here, right now, in regards to this part of their world? Spirit, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 1. What does pile 1 need to know about their relationships, emotions? And one more. And let's look at external factors, energy around you in regards to relationship. Pile number 1. Okay, so we have equanimity, depth of feelings, detachment, calmness, sensitivity, stabilized mood, emotional mastery with a virtue, number 94. Okay, we have synchronicities, 53. or the number 8, and the new pearl with number 44 or the number 8. And we have the 2 of coins, equanimity, 2 of coins, talking about balance. And we have the Page of Cups in reverse. And we have the 6 of Cups in reverse. Okay. Beautiful angels. Give me a second. Okay. I do feel you guys are, this is looking to me like to be an overall lesson of emotions for you, but it's being reflected to you probably most likely through an intimate relationship of sorts, okay? But it doesn't necessarily have to be. It's all about emotional mastery. I think the universe is certainly working with you in order to do a lot of healing, shedding, a lot of old emotional bodies that you might carry and tendencies you might have that might have not have necessarily helped you in maintaining balanced emotions. Okay. And when I say balance, it's like you sort of mastering your own emotions. Okay. And really connecting to your emotions and understanding yourself. I feel like this is a big thing. Okay. This is what Spirit is showing. And so I feel like when we're in a state of imbalance, we start to deal with situations that don't really reflect or give to us in the same way we invest in. And so this is a big lesson in stabilizing and finding stability. And when it comes to your emotional body, remaining calm, remaining sort of in control without, just allowing our feelings to sort of run the show. So I feel like there's been a difficult relationship or difficulty in our emotional house that is forming who we are. We're still involved in whatever this lesson or this understanding is, because I feel like we're still understanding about our emotions. And I do feel like for some of you guys, if you are in relationship, you could certainly be dealing with people who are not necessarily at your level or emotionally developed. So we're bringing in these people, okay? So it could be people who aren't contributing or imbalanced situations. And this could certainly be, people who are detached. But at the end of the day, what this is showing is that Spirit is wanting you to connect to a certain part of your own feelings and get through this lesson, if you will, or this understanding, shed the old in order for you to become this polished pearl when it comes to your emotions and self-mastery. So pearls don't become pearls just, overnight. There's an agitation process. So we deal with annoying situations and people that might not be the greatest and certain things that might seem unfair. And it's like every experience that's agitating, it's creating this beautiful thing within you that I think is being formed, and it has been formed over a long period of time. So I think you've been at it for some time. And so Spirit is showing this need to continue finding balance. And so for some of you guys, I feel like there's still same situations here, if I got to be honest, same people creating the same stories, same imbalances. Okay, so we're still sort of wrapped up in potentially karmic situations until we shed old versions of us. These people will sort of hang around, and they hang around in order to help us form this beautiful pearl. So it could be through adversity, we create a beautiful relationship over time, with our soulmate, because 6 of Cups is soulmates. But it's like we can't move past that experience until we learn the lesson or form the pearl or understand ourselves or mature from that state to the next. Because I feel there's still an immaturity, okay, in regards to understanding emotional mastery. And that's not like poking fun, you know, like I'm not saying you're immature. It's just there's an early stage of development here. So our emotions don't run the show. We could stabilize our mood. People don't get under our skin. We're not reactive. Okay. Or if we're really detached from our emotions because we feel like we have to protect ourselves. And so we're reactionary. It's like we need to connect and learn to be vulnerable, you know? And so I feel like I do feel like there's an aloneness here, because the aloneness is you having to learn it. So there's no one else that can learn it for you. And so if right now you guys aren't in a relationship, I feel like this continues for a bit more. This bear is giving me hibernation because we're still learning about ourselves, even though we're challenged. It's like it's forming this pearl so that you could become the pearl so that you are ready for a relationship. Okay. And if for some of you guys, if you're dealing with an overbearing person who's quite stubborn, emotionally immature, it's like mirroring this to you in order for you to understand how to deal and navigate. Doesn't mean you have to put up with these people, but that's what we're learning. How to engage, how not to engage, boundaries, how to let people not get under skin or do. Some of you guys might be dealing with, like an overbearing person, you know, of the past who's just still there. And it's like, why are they there? And so we're having to nurture, okay? We're having to nurture the situation. This doesn't mean we have to continue to invest in people who show up poorly or who are stubborn or who are forceful. It's like knowing what part do I water of this connection, because for some of you guys, it could be a family member that we can't just cut off. And it's like learning how to nurture this connection, learning how to find a way to infuse the situation in a positive way that will provide health, not add to the drama or add to the fire, add to something, you know. And maybe for some of you guys, I'm getting an avoidance energy. And so this could mean, you know, when things start to threaten us, however it does, you know, whatever, if the person threatens us in any way that makes us feel like they're not in line with what we would want, we might shut down, or we might get upset, or we might try to control the situation, because there's a lot of this. And Spirit is saying, like, we have to observe our own energy so that we know how to handle ourselves. And this is what's fleshing out here. You know, a lot of growth and a lot of stabilizing, balancing of emotions, going through challenging situations for the benefit of a positive outcome. And so I feel like we're working on liberating ourselves. Yeah, even like this heart has wings. And so this is like liberating ourselves from emotions that might have been driving in the past and holding us hostage to people, situations, you know, bullies, or made us always turn inwards because we felt like we weren't understood, or, you know. So this is what I see here under the Ace of Hearts, Ace of Cups. So let's take a look at your next area, which is this Ace of Swords. So your thoughts, any major revelations, ideas, any actions you're going to take towards anything major. Let's see what Spirit wants to share with you. So any new beginnings or closing cycles out. All right. So Ace of Swords. For pile number 1, spirits, in the thought realm, the sword suit, what does pile 1 need to know about any of their ideas, their thoughts, actions that they'll take, significant actions that they need to understand, truths, revelations? What is it that pile number 1 needs to hear right now? Thank you, Spirit. Pile 1. More. And external energies impacting this part of your world. Okay. So we have humbleness, virtue, 92, number 11 again. Clear vision of your value, modesty, realism, respect, gratitude, and rightful place. Wow. Because Ace of Swords is all about clear vision, but this is clear vision about your value. Beautiful. All right. So we have sugar, number 31, or the number 4, and we have the peacock's tail, number 55, or the number 10. We have the Two of Cups in reverse. We have the Empress in reverse, Taurus and Libra energy, and Four of Swords. Okay, so in your experience here with this Ace of Swords, talking about major lessons, revelations, understandings, there's a big understanding around self-love and self-worth, because I feel like we have been unsuccessful when it comes to emotional connections. Okay, this doesn't have to be a love relationship. For a lot of you guys, it could be unsuccessful partners, unfulfilled emotional relationships. And it's like, why? So there's a lot of learning about self-love, self-value, seeing yourself, expressing yourself. And maybe not necessarily, because this sugar is really giving me like overindulging in things that don't necessarily matter so much or aren't fulfilling, and then regretting it, or like it looks like it might be a good idea or a fun time or something like this, but then it falls short. It doesn't, connect to us in a deep way, and overindulgence in things here where we don't learn our boundaries. And so I feel like we're learning about boundaries that are healthy in order for us to understand our value, but also express ourselves in a way here that is truthful, and we see ourselves differently than maybe we have in the past. We understand the different facets of our nature without shame or without suppression. So I feel like there's this energy of embracing all of yourself. And with maybe in the past, we were sort of only allowing certain parts to be seen. And so therefore, as long as we only allow certain parts to be seen, we're sort of suppressing a part of ourselves, like it's shameful or no good. And so then the inner child, or the shadow part, starts to rebel. Our shadow part wants to be seen and welcomed, and so this is why it creates havoc in our world. And so I feel like there's an understanding of where we were maybe suppressing a part of ourselves that needed a voice, or was in denial, or following down a path here that wasn't necessarily the best for us. And so our inner child wants us to explore and express and connect to parts of ourself that we might have shut down. But also at the same time, there could be shadow parts of us that we didn't want to acknowledge. And so therefore it kept us in either shallow relationships or just not bonding in a way here that would reflect our value. And so this has nothing to do with other people so much as us welcoming what's not good for us. Like, are we making a room for what's not good for us? Are we entertaining what's not good for us? Are we overindulging with relationship that's not good for us? And why? There's an understanding of this, and there's a processing of this. So I feel like there's working through this, like earning your own respect, understanding your own value, giving yourself the love you need. So there's a lot of healing here, and generally we heal when we've gone through suffering, like painful situations. This happens after 3 swords. So a breakup of a relationship, or just, like a breakup of a relationship, or like too many unfulfilling relationships, or lack of balance and connection. And so we have to take a look at ourselves and say, what am I worthy of? What am I doing here? What have I been repeating? What am I suppressing? What am I not expressing? And so there's a lot of thoughts around this. Self-mastery, self-understanding, having a clearer vision of who you are and what you show to the world. So yeah, this is what I see. Pile number 1. I hope this helped you guys. If you're pulled to another pile, I will see you guys there. All right, bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 2, you guys picked the Ace of Crystals, which is the Ace of Pentacles. And we're going to look at all 4 areas of your world, including the aces, the pentacles, the cups, and, the wands, the pentacles, the cups, and the swords. Okay, so this is going to represent different aspects of your world. We will start with, let's start with the pentacle since you picked it. Okay, so the pentacle is around your material world, your practical world. So this could be your job, your finances, career, where you live. Okay, that sort of thing. So I do want to tell you guys, when I pulled this card, it was absolutely stuck to the Lovers card. Like stuck. It even left a little thing here. So Lovers is Gemini, and the Lovers is a choice. So you might be faced with a choice. Okay, it could be a choice in love. It could be a choice following your path. But we see a rainbow here, and the rainbow could signify hope, but it could signify gaining different perspectives of understanding here in order to make a choice or to follow our path. So let's see what's exactly around this Ace of Pentacles for pile number 2 in their practical world and their career, finances. What's happening in their material world here that they need to know? Are they starting anything new, closing something out, continuing on with something? What do they need to know? So we have Venus. Ooh, Venus is the planet of love. Remember I told you guys got the Lovers. That's interesting. So Venus. What else, Spirit, for pile number 2 in regards to what they need to know about their material world? Let's pull 3 tarot cards regarding pile number 2's practical world. What do they need to know? Those 2. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 2. Okay, and then we'll also pull 1 card just for external energy. Could be external people, outside sources, energies you're dealing with in this realm or in this pocket of your life that's sort of out of your control. We have anger. Oh my goodness, 46 or the number 10. Aggressiveness, irritability, judgment, criticism, bitterness, and conviction. Okay, and we have vinegar, which is totally this anger. Interesting. 34. I'm going to leave it how it came out, but it is this anger. Okay. And we have the King of Coins in reverse. Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. And we have the 6 of Coins in reverse. And we have the 9 of Cups. And we have the Knight of Wands in reverse. What has happened to pile number 2? Oh my goodness. Let's see. I just heard something look good on the surface, and it didn't work out. Okay. Beautiful angels. This message is clear, okay? I feel like something did look good on the surface. So I don't know if a lot of you guys have started a new job or are going to be offered a new job or a new house, and it looks good. But I feel like looks are one thing, but I feel like it turns out not to be a job you want to commit to or stay long term. And if it's a house, it quickly becomes not the place. And it doesn't necessarily mean that's not the house. It could just mean, oh my gosh, I hate this neighborhood, or I got to move out of this country. Like I can't stay here no more in this country, right? Like whatever the thing we ended up committing to quickly becomes not good for us because it doesn't produce something here for us. Or we choose to look at if we're happy emotionally and it doesn't check that box. And I feel like you choose to be emotionally happy. And so if for some of you guys, because I'm reading through a lot of scenarios, all of a sudden, let's say you want to join forces with somebody to be their roommate. You know, it's like, yes, we're gonna, I don't know. Like we have the same goal. It turns out this person is maybe unreliable, or there's an argument and a falling out. It's like, I can't live with this roommate no more. So whatever this is, it looks good on the surface and then it doesn't produce and it becomes imbalanced. So it's like either you have to, like if it's a job, it's like, shoot, like, what do they mean? I got to pay my expenses up front, and maybe you're like strapped for cash and it's like, it's annoying, or you got to get a credit card and like pay for your own gas and you got to drive around and travel. And it's like, no, like not what I wanted or something like this. So there's something here that can't sustain, like you can't sustain at that job place or in that roommate situation or in that location of that home or whatever it is. And you end up wanting to make the decision to fulfill what emotionally makes you happy. And so I feel like you don't want to pursue the thing, or you lose the fire or the excitement for that thing. So, interesting. I was talking about the lovers being stuck here with the choice and it being following your path. We might see some more with the other cards here, but I don't know what that's about. Like, are we making a major decision, to move out? And then we do, and we're like, ugh, like, I don't know if it's tied to that decision or if this is independent of it, or you're already in this state where you're like, I got to move out of this situation. It's not doing it for me. And so we're there for some time. But I feel like what Spirit's saying ultimately is you choose your emotional happiness. So if you're already experiencing this, have hope. You're going to get out of it. And if you haven't experienced this and you decide to get into something that seems good at first, it's going to show its true colors to you quickly, So this is what I got here for this this card. Let's take a look at the next part, which is the Ace of Wands. So what is this? This is your creative pursuits, your passions, any sort of inspirations you might have, any creations that you might want to follow through on. What does this look like? So it could even, like be career as well with the wands. Could even be communication as well. So let's see. What is, and action. So there's a lot of overlap here. Let's see. What does Spirit wants pile number 2 to know about in regards to the wands suit, their passions, their creative pursuits, any inspiration they might have? Let's pull the tarot for pile number 2 regarding the wands suit. What do they need to know? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 2. Thank you, Spirit, for this message. We do feel we'll take that one. And then we have the external energy, external people, external circumstance. There's your card. I do feel there's one more wanting to come through. There it is. Okie dokie. So what do we do? What do we do? Let's go over here. So Neptune, number 9. Okay. Neptune's the ruling planet for Pisces. It could be fantasy. Okay. Downloads, dreams, visions, synchronicities. Wow. You might be shown something here. This is very spiritual, I'm getting, like seeing a sign, symbol, synchronicity, being received information from the divine here. Okay. Potentially something very karmic or a contract, potentially. Wheel of Fortune, look at that. This is the card of karmic lessons and cycles. The divine intervention here of something, or at least divine coming to give you something. What do we have? 10 of Pentacles in reverse and the Ace of Swords in reverse and the 10 of Cups. What did I tell you guys about a situation that was like either a work or a home situation that needed to dissolve because we might have not have seen. It's like choosing to be happy here with the 10 of Cups. This is ultimate happiness, emotional happiness. Something changes here. Honey, the tarot reader's freaking me out again. So what do we have? Anger in reverse. So we saw what that's all about. It's interconnected, okay? And like I said, like lots of areas of our life are interconnected. I think this is interconnected to that part, that first part, the practical part, the job, the living situation, the thing that appeared good. And we have equanimity. This came out for pile number 1 if you're interested, but depth of feelings, detachment, calmness, sensitivity, stabilized mood, emotional mastery. 4 is all about stability. 94, or the number 13, which is all about transformation, Scorpio energy, release, death. Okay, so somehow your practical world bleeds through with your inspired action and your passion. I think there's a passion towards being emotionally fulfilled and creating something for the long term for yourself that I think is a big change from what you're used to. And because we see the 10 cups and not the 9 cups now, it's involving either a community or another person, but it's certainly, you're not alone here, you know, but this is like, I don't know, there's like an understanding of a vision of something like a utopian future of happiness that is like coming to you, and you get inspired to understand how to move. You're guided. I don't know. There's a lot of divine guidance here and divine movement towards working through situations that you might have been stuck in. Okay, 10 Pentacles in the reverse. It's like, this could be like a dissolution of a family, or this could be like leaving a long-term job. This could be, I thought I could build something here and I can no longer. And we just didn't understand or see how to make moves or see clearly in a situation that maybe it was not in line with our authenticity. We see 3 birds. Birds are all about communication. So I think you have to detach from something that doesn't emotionally make you happy in order to go towards something that does, because the depth of feelings, I feel, is going to override the practical world of something. And so the universe pulls you out of a situation, you know, and it could just be like, you know how sometimes things happen and it's like you couldn't even explain it, even if you wanted to or write it, because truth is stranger than fiction. It's like, if this didn't happen, if that didn't, like, it all seemed totally flowing from the divine. Like, you'll know it was divine intervention or divine guidance working you through, like, you know, when one thing sort of shifts, another thing comes in, and it's like, and one thing led to another, and then like you're out of a situation. That's what I feel. I feel like there's a tumultuous situation. Maybe you're dealing with a workplace where, let's say, there's a lot of hostility, you know, or just like the tension, or it's cancerous, or it's like people are aggressive, like, or your boss is just a bully, or like you're in a relationship where it's like, oh, it just doesn't feel warm and welcoming. It's like I'm dealing with a tyrant or someone who's angry or resentful. It's like, no. Or like my roommate now became someone who isn't pleasant to live with. And then the divine sort of starts to guide you towards where you can go, you know? Yeah. I feel like you can trust wherever you can go here. And I feel like you're going to get inspired to listen to the divine, because the divine's going to come through dreams or through seeing like symbols, or like an understanding you'll have. That's like, oh, an inspiration to like, I'll go check, I don't know, like, I don't know, I don't know, I'll go sign in to LinkedIn, you know, and then you see like a job offer in there and you're like, ooh, I didn't go in there for so long. And kind of got inspired to go in there, and now I found this offer of a job, and then it's like, okay, then you meet with them, and then it moves on to the next, and then it's like, before you know it, you have the job, and then you got to quit your job, and it's like, oh, but I don't know, like for sure, but it's like you're guided by your emotions, and it's like that's your, you know, like you can align with your community of people, like it emotionally provides something that this couldn't, you know, or whatever. Or you sign into Facebook and you see like a message or someone looking for a roommate, or I don't know, there's something about you having to detach from something in order to move to something more stable. And with this emotional mastery, I feel like it's more in line with fulfilling some part of emotional food, that's soul food, that this other situation could not. Yeah. So, okay, that's interesting. Well, let's take a look at the next part of your reading with this Ace of Hearts, which is the Ace of Cups, which is all about your relationships. And this doesn't have to be intimate love relationships. It certainly could be familial, could be friendships. It's your emotional house. So in the emotional work you're doing or experiencing, we'll see if there's any new love coming in. Are we parting with anything? What's going on with our emotions here, Spirit? So, Spirit, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of beautiful pile number 2 when it comes to their emotions, their relationships. What do they need to know about this part of their world? Will there be anything new, anything closing out? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of beautiful pile number 2. Oh my goodness. Okay. And external energies, people. Better not see that anger card come out again. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Smoke. Oh my goodness. 32, or the number 5. 5 is all about change, conflict. But where there's smoke, there's fire. I need to get out. I just heard, is this all connected? One big reading? That would be weird. Sulfur, it's starting to stink. There's a breakthrough and something that is about time to take action. Like there could be like, and I say danger, but danger is like emotional danger. Like I don't want to stay here anymore. Sulfur, like it's not smelling good. Finally snapped. Why are you snapping here? 5 of coins in reverse. It's keeping me out in the cold. It's not doing it. 2 of cups in reverse. Oh my goodness, you guys. 8 of cups in reverse and the star. Oh my goodness. And harmony. Tranquility, kindness, calm, comfort, adaptation, and friendliness. Okay. I feel all your sort of interlapping. Okay, so for a lot of you guys, I mean, if you're really tied emotionally to your work, then it's your work situation, or it could have the predominant of your focus, you know, because if it's your career, it's like you spend a lot of your time there. For some of you guys, it's a relationship and it's your family setup. Okay, because I am seeing 5 Pentacles here, so it could be that's a job that wasn't paying good or wasn't feeling good or whatever. But whatever this thing is, you think it is no longer, you can no longer just stay there, whatever it is. It's not doing it for you. Okay, it's not bringing you emotional happiness. So there's like you might have been putting up with the situation for some time or stuck for maybe practical reasons, like I can't move just yet, or I don't have enough for my, whatever. I don't have enough, or I didn't have the job available to me to just leave one to go to another. But for whatever reason, we were staying there. And maybe we were trying to convince ourselves at one point it would get better, or there would be harmony, or we would find something emotionally fulfilling about it. But I think this is the best thing that you could do for yourself is leave that situation, because I think one thing too many happens, or we finally have the breakthrough that we need to move towards our North Star. And I feel like the North Star is emotionally leaving a situation that wasn't producing in order to move towards our destined path. Okay, now I know why that card was stuck to the Lovers. You're on your path, and this is all about divine guidance. So you're being divinely guided down a path to set you up with your dream job or your dream person, or like some divine thing that you're fulfilling here with the Star. And I feel like you've done a lot of healing throughout maybe this whole chain. Like I was talking about the chain reaction. It's like a whole process, you know, which allows there to be healing, but you find harmony. And I feel like there is a level of like relief. It's almost like, you know, when you shake, I don't know, something, or like you put the Mentos in the Coke bottle and then after that, it sort of calms down. It's like the release might be like intense or like anticipated, but like you can't stay there anymore. So it's like inevitable. But then after there's like a release, and I feel like the calmness here is like the ability for you to now not be blurred or blinded by smoke of a situation, because you could see your star, you could see where you're going, and you could focus on this, because I do feel the star is where you want to go. So emotionally, I feel you're going to be fulfilled by aligning yourself towards the direction of where you're divinely guided, more so than you currently are. Because currently, I think whatever this is, it's like bare minimum. Like it's either paying your bill, but not really, because I feel like whatever it is doing, it's still not doing it enough, or it's like providing something, but whatever the something is it provides, it's like, it's about time it's going to just not do it anymore, you know? Yeah, and for some of you guys, it is a breakup, or leaving that situation or that relationship, you know, or leaving that job, or it's incompatible, and we might have known it was, you know, but for whatever reason, we had some involvement in maybe, you know, doing something here for some time for whatever reason. But I do feel we free ourselves of whatever this is. So that's good. And like 9's about the Hermit. Hermit is about knowing ourselves, and maybe you're going from a period of feeling very isolated, you know, because I feel like the emotional energy doesn't feel good. And so in this situation, like even if there's people around, it's like you feel like an outsider, or like alone, or like isolated. And this is no more. Okay, definitely no more. So, wow. Okay, let's take a look at final area, which is this Ace of Swords. This is looking at any sort of major revelations you might have, or your thoughts, any actions you'll take, any epiphanies or understandings you might have, anything you might take action on. So we'll look at if there's anything new or closing out, major revelations. What is this all about for pile number 2, Spirit? Pile number 2 in the Sword suit, their thoughts, their ideas, their communications, or communication coming in. What does pile number 2 need to know in this area of their world, Spirit? Thank you so much. Benevolent guide. I told you guys are being guided. Benevolent guide. All your aces seem to be all interconnected here. My gosh. Or at least it's all like impacting every other aspect of your world. 57. Okay. Benevolent guide. And we could be guided by people, but it's, you know, divine intervention. Like people come in to help guide us, like situations come in to guide us, and it's all through the divine that we're being led. Wow. And we might be feeling like helpless in our situation, or hopeless, and then the divine comes in to guide us through. Spirit, pile number 2, what do they need to know about this sword suit? Any understandings or communications? Ooh, you drop something? No. Let's feel it like this, and I do feel one more, Spirit. Yes, one more. Okay. And external energies, people, circumstances impacting this energy. Okay. Spring. Yeah, springtime. We were in a winter period. Like I said, I felt hermit. I felt removed, isolated. It's like things are thawing. Things are warming up. Look at the beautiful colors too. So we're moving into calmer waters. I'm really getting like Six Swords type energy, you know, we're freeing ourselves of a situation, something that's been stuck. We're trying to get ourselves unstuck. It's like we finally, I feel like you don't maybe, well, we'll see here, but I feel like, I don't think you even fully know. It's just you're guided. It just unfolds. The Magician, you've manifested this. You've been manifesting this, I feel, for a while. Guide you out of something or in towards something. The Knight of Cups, following your emotions again. And the Four of Wands in reverse. So there was a setup here. There was a community that either outstayed its welcome or it wasn't doing it for you. And so I feel like you move away from something that could be certainly already established. But there is this follow my heart, act on my emotions, because I feel you have been manifesting or working with the divine towards whatever this thing is. Nine of Coins in reverse. So certainly whatever your situation has been, because I know I'm feeling for a lot of you guys, you might already be in it because it feels like it's been like this, potentially stuck. Okay, maybe just overall in your world's been stuck. You've been dependent on something that's been misaligned with your now energy. And it could be your now energy has been one way and your physical world has been another for some time. And being dependent on that financially or practically sucks, because I feel like it was at the expense of you being fulfilled emotionally. And so I feel like there is this having to move away from whatever you were dependent on or whatever wasn't allowing you to have your sense of independence here, so that you can walk towards what emotionally makes you feel very, very happy. I think it warms your heart. It provides you with a lot more harmony emotionally here than you have been in the past. And external circumstances, we have 18 with loss, abandonment, detachment, mourning, departure, separation, and distanciation. So there's a departure. There's definitely a separation. And we were seeing the Two Cups. A lot of you guys, like I said, it's either your workplace or your whatever your setup right now, your family situation, however you're living, where you're living, you can't sustain anymore. And there might have been a lot of uncertainty of how, or lack of clarity, or fears in the loss, you know. But I feel like this abandonment is like, I feel like you've been feeling pretty abandoned, you know, by, I don't know, the universe or in an aspect of your world, that the divine has heard your manifestations and you've definitely manifested this, you know, brighter days ahead, thawing of stuck situations or where you felt shut out, alone. And so it's like the silver lining, because I feel like with this morning, like this was a community. And maybe this is why we had the Eight of Cups in reverse. Like we didn't want to leave, or for whatever reason, we were still dependent on that situation, financially or practically. And then the reality hits. And I think when the reality hits, it's like the best thing is to detach. The best thing is to separate. And so this is the major understanding you have. The revelation is like you see the truth. And the truth is you detach from situations that fall short. So this is what I see here. Pile number 2. I hope this helped you. And if you're called to another pile, I will see you there. All right. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels. You guys picked the Ace of Hearts, which is the Ace of Cups. And we're going to look at all 4 areas of your world. So we'll look at the Wand suit, which is all about your passions, your creative expression, any inspired ideas you might have, your career. We'll look at the Pentacles, which is money, finances, career, your practical material world. And then we'll look at any sort of major revelations, communications, understandings, or thoughts, ideas that you might have coming through. Okay, so they certainly might overlap depending on your world. And really, we're looking at any new beginnings, any cycles closing out, or anything you're continuing to sort of foster or progress in those areas. So let's take a look. We'll start with the one that you pulled, and then we'll go look at the other areas. So let's first take a look at pile number 3's Ace of Cups, their emotional body, their emotions, their relationships. So this could be friendships, this could be family relationships as a whole, your emotional body regarding any healing you might be doing with your emotions. Spirit, pile number 3, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 3. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile 3. What's going on in their emotional realm with the relationships? Anything new? Anything closing out? Pile number 3, Spirit. What's going on with pile 3 in regards to relationships and their emotions? Okay, and we will pull one of these, and this is external factors. So it could be external people. It could be just energy external that is impacting your emotional world. Clear and concise message regarding pile number 3, and I think the one that revealed itself. We have projection 33, expulsion from yourself, external reapproach, shifting, victimization, externalization, external attribution, defense mechanism, as my email goes off. So 33 is a master number. It's all about reproduction, creativity, humor, Christ consciousness, joy, and harmony. We have Uranus, the great awakener. Wow, 58. So Uranus is the ruling planet for Aquarius, and we have the Great Serpent. So here we have the Ouroboros, number 45, which is the number 9. So we have 6 and 9. Okay, and we have the Star, more Aquarius energy, healing the Hierophant in reverse, Taurus energy, and the Ace of Swords. Wow. Ooh. Okay, let me sit here with this. Where's my wand? With this energy. Okay. Wow. Pile number 3. I think for a lot of you guys, you have been okay, there's so many messages and I don't know where to begin. So stick around if it doesn't sound like you just yet. We might get to it near the end. Okay, but I feel like there is going to be a huge shift here in your emotional house. Okay, so it could be in a relationship, but I feel like your energy has been something that might have been experiencing a stagnation, but I feel there is a rebirth here. Okay, but this rebirth is incorporating a lot of the healing lessons and understandings you've had. So this does feel like a group that maybe has done a lot of shadow work. Okay, and I feel like your life is about to change in a drastic way here, because what we might have understood at one point in time, maybe what we valued or invested our time with, or the people and relationships we did, might look completely different. You know, like I don't get the timeline here, but it's like there is finally connecting or maybe seeing things completely different than we have in the past, which aligns us to something different. And we might start to really say, yeah, this relationship, this friendship needs to go, or I'm no longer needing to get from this, you know, relationship or whatever, like what I used to in the past. Like there's a lot of, we'll probably see a lot of revelation here with the swords, but I feel like because of the shift of energy of the work that you've done in yourself, there's a natural progression and change here. But I feel like the spontaneous thing is all of a sudden there's like a shift from where you were. This is really difficult to put into words, but it's like then your whole life is being reborn from how you've known it. So if you've always lived in, let's say, the same hometown with the same friends, you know, for however long, it's like suddenly you find yourself, you know, in like a high rise of New York, like CEO, something like this. I know this is about emotions, but it's like that sort of a turnaround in some way. It's like I never thought I would even align to that, you know? Or let's say we've been, you know, like living a life of like, you know, housewife, married for 35 years. And suddenly it's like, I don't want any of this. I want to go travel, you know, like Europe or something. There's like this sudden shift, change in what makes you emotionally happy. And that includes people and the way you spend your time. So the type of people you might have been involved with that might have been fulfilling are no longer the same types of people that do it for you. If you were like pulled by one type of energy, you know, like this is my type, it's like, no, like now you're kind of pulled by a different type. Like I feel like there is this newness about what you're connecting to. And I do feel like this is because you've done a lot of self-exploration. And I do feel like Spirit is really talking about you aligning with where you're supposed to go. And so we might have finally an understanding of what we want. You know, like we can actually say it. It's not what we're, I don't know, like sort of conditioned to believe what we want, or because it's always been this way, so I just kept doing it. Like that sort of an energy. It really becomes a conscious choice. Where do I want to go and who do I want to go with? And it aligns with what you want. And so I feel like this is the type of revelation and truth. So I do see a new beginning here for sure. And I do see there being a shift. And usually when we see a shift, that means there's a falling away of something. So I do feel there's a falling away of a relationship or a friendship or the types of people we hang out with or the groups of people that we normally connect to. And whatever was emotionally fulfilling is not no more. And so there's that whole thing when it comes to your emotions. And it might be something that's not very traditional either. So this could certainly be something where people are like, what? You're backpacking in Europe? You're like, yeah, that's where it emotionally fulfills me. Or what do you mean you're, you know, moving to, I don't know, like a healing resort, working with, I don't know, like a bunch of Buddhas or something like this, like that sort of a thing. Like it's not in line with what they've known you to be, who they've known you to be. And you're okay with this, but I feel like either you just didn't pull the trigger or didn't know how to, or you finally accept some form of authenticity and truth about yourself. And I feel like nothing but the truth will align now. It's like, you know yourself, I feel here, you know? And it's an energy of out there. You'll know if it's like reflecting back to you something fulfilling or not, whether it is adding substance to you or not. And I think your judgment is good enough to know where to invest or where to cut off. It's like you'll no longer sort of invest in half situations that are murky or unclear to you. It's like you'll know if you're emotionally fulfilled or not. And those are the only things you sort of accept in your world. Wowzers. So there is a dissolution of something or a falling away of something, you know, like I do see that, because in order to be rebuilt, we have to release something. And I do see you doing that, but it's for the greater good of being emotionally happy. And I think you're more than willing to do this because you have this long-term vision of what this will turn out to be. So interesting, pile number 3. Wow, let's take a look at the Ace of Wands, which is your inspirations, your creative pursuits. It could be career, it could be your, I don't know, like I said, maybe you get inspired to do something here, passion about something. So let's see. For pile number 3 in the wand suit, what is going to be new or different, or what will be happening in their passions and their inspirations here for pile number 3, spirits? What do they need to know? Will they be taking inspired action on anything? What are they going to be passionate towards? What will they desire? I'm going to take that one. I'll leave it where it's, I do feel on top of that. So we see 5 coins. 5 coins is feeling like we're lacking resources or being in the outs. I feel like that's the energy you've been predominantly in the emotional body. And so I think this is why you make the change. It's like something's missing. Something isn't producing. And you don't like that feeling. So let's see. External people, energy, situation, circumstance in regards to the wand suit for pile number 3. Mental tendency 56, hysteria, excessive emotions, simulation, delusion, agitation, overexcitement, affective dependence 56, or the number 11. Okay, what is this one on top of here? 6 of Cups in reverse. Okay. Now we have Jupiter, number 6. So Jupiter is the ruling planet for Sagittarius, Pisces. And we have the uncreated, number 43, or the number 7. And we have Venus with the number 4. Okay. Taurus, or yeah, Taurus and Libra. And we have the Ace of Coins, new beginning, and the 3 of Cups in reverse. Okay. So, beautiful people. I think you can't know more in whatever situation, friends, groups, friends, or the people around you. It's like the old community, the old group of people, the old network, that feeling, you can't know more. And I think you really almost get too wrapped up in the fact that you don't want to hang around or invest or stay in whatever is not for you anymore. You have a new beginning here, because I feel like whatever that situation is, okay, like it holds you back. And I feel like with this uncreated, there's something to be created, especially with that star we were seeing. Like you're divinely needing to roll yourself independently towards a new energy that can help you to grow and foster a creation of sorts here that has to be in line with your passion and your vision. And I feel like whatever people are around you, they're kind of like small town or limited, is how you feel here. And I feel like either they're really limiting your growth or holding you back, or feel fake in some way. It's like it's not, I don't know, especially if you just finally woke up, you know, and you're conscious. It's like you're seeing these people as being asleep, or like doing things that don't really matter, or like they're robotic in some way or something like this. And it's like, I've been here because this is all I've ever known or all I've ever done. And it's like it's very magnified to you. And so I feel like whatever you want is greater for yourself, because I do feel it aligns with purpose and abundance. I was going to say fame. For some of you guys, it could certainly bring some form of fame, but it's a creative thing. And I just feel like maybe the small things even matter to you, you know, because I think you might have been making a lot of concessions or covering up or making excuses for certain behaviors or people. And it's like, no, it needs to be all around pleasurable for me. And like, this is abundance and like luxury. Like, you want luxury, and I think you recognize wherever you're at or whoever you've been hanging out with has been ragged or not at your level, you know, like that doesn't sound very good, but I don't think it makes you feel good. For some of you guys, it's just like, I feel weighed down. I feel like gray. And so you're ready for a new beginning here. And I think for some of you guys, it's like you don't really necessarily know so much like what this new path will really end up, but you do know it's aligned with your star, and you do know that it's the best move to make. And I don't necessarily feel like it's just to get away from something. I feel like the new calling makes you feel like alive, and it's like bigger than life. Like you kind of have to take that calling, whereas then you see like the world behind you as like just not for you anymore. It's not emotionally pleasing anymore. You just don't fit in with those people. And, you know, like I feel there is a love here, but it's like in this point in time, it's no longer inspiring you to stay there, to have growth. It would be, you'd be lying to yourself, you know, if you stayed there, invested. So let's take a look at your next card here, which is the Ace of Crystals, the Ace of Pentacles. So in your practical world, your material world, what's happening? Anything new? So yeah, there is a newness when it comes to your creative pursuits there, your inspiration. There's definitely something being born. And I'd say something quite big too. Okay, so in your material world, in your practical world, for pile number 3, what do they need to know about their finances, career, where they live? What do they need to know here with this Ace of Pentacles for pile number 3, Spirit? Thank you so much for this message. Let's pull your tarot for pile number 3 in the Pentacle realm, material realm. Anything new, anything released, anything they need to know. And finally, external people, circumstances, energy impacting this area of your life. Okie dokie, let's take a look. So wise salt, 28, or the number 10, against nature, 56, and the 4 of Wands, the Ace of Cups, oh my goodness, and the 2 of Cups in reverse. And we have ordinariness, 22, conformism, platitude, routine, dullness, monotony, and mediocrity with avoidance. Okay, and 22 is the number 4. 22. Yeah, when you look at both twos, it's like balance, but it's also about the structure and the foundation and the planning. And this is all about foundations and structure here. Okay, so this seems to be kind of like overlapping a lot, which I knew we'd get because all of our areas could certainly overlap based on big changes, you know, and I feel like there's a big change here, like with that Uranus energy that shifts your reality. And I feel like it's a real big shift in your existing community, whatever community this thing is, family, friends, where you spend your day in and out, you know. And I feel like you're going to have a new beginning that I think really is all about you filling your cup. And I feel like it comes with the having to detach from people or relationships. And I feel like you're willing to do this because I do feel like I said, there is this, I can't no more, you know, conform to that. It becomes too monotonous and it becomes too dull. And I feel like you rebel in some way with this against nature, and it might not be expected of you from these people. And also, I think it might not be expected of you to pull the trigger, but I feel like it's not irrational and it's not coming from just, oh, spontaneous. This is something that is coming from a very wise place of knowing, you know, like whatever this move is, whatever this change is, it is based on a real deep understanding. I think you're very intellectual about why you're making this move. There's a lot of conscious choice involved in this decision. And I feel you're very experienced enough to make the change. And I feel like what's shifted is your perspective. Because now I think you're seeing the people or your old situation. Yeah, look, even this rainbow, the people or the situation for what it is. And I feel like it was limiting you and it was against your truest nature because we were trying to conform or fit into a box of another community that there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not balancing your cup because I feel like your cup is like full of depth here, or at least you understand your own cup to be of a certain value and a certain, you know, like if I'm going to give my cup and you understand what your cup is worth, you're not just going to go hand it around just willy-nilly. You want to invest wisely and nurture. And I feel like you can't squander it around people who are just sort of, I don't know, you know, not giving you the equal cup in return, like in that way that's full of depth. So there is a new beginning here in your practical world. And I feel like it really does involve aligning yourself with your soul tribe, with your community, with your person, with your building of something here that I think you're going to build roots. And so it might be a big change, but I feel like it is a part of your ordinariness because I feel like to do anything different and to stay here, that would be against your nature. And so to do this is to align to something more comfortable for you, although it is radical, you know, because you haven't lived this or you haven't done this or you haven't explored this part. But it is, the spirit is talking about the ordinariness here because I feel like, one, the world that you thought was for you becomes very, like I said, like dull and routine. And this new world that might be scary for others just because it's non-conformative, it is actually becomes your ordinary. And so I feel either you got support from the universe to flow in this direction. Wow. Okay. So final area, which is this Ace of Swords. So this is all about major epiphanies, thoughts you might have, ideas that might come to you, major communication you might get, receive, or give. You know, any epiphanies you might have. So any actions you might take, major actions in this sort of Ace of Swords. Let's see. Spirit for beautiful pile number 3 in regards to the sword suit, their ideas, their thoughts, their actions, their words, communication coming through. What do they need to know? So we got 2. Pile number 3. When it comes to swords, what do they need to know about this area of them, their world, themselves? Any major revelations and external people, circumstances, energy surrounding this part of your world. Essence. Wow, that's such a beautiful word. Perfection, experience, integration, accepting others, growth, balance, various visions, mistake acceptance with number 1. Number 100. Okay. The peacock's tail. Wow. All about expression, being seen. And we have antimony, number 26. No, sorry, 27. Or the number 9. So we have the 9 of Swords in reverse. We have the 4 of Swords in reverse. We have the Hangman, Pisces energy, and we have the Queen of Wands. Okay. Your reading, just like pile number 2 is sort of really overlapped, this is also really overlapped for you guys as well, because I feel like this is impacting your whole world. So whatever we've been talking about throughout this whole thing, I feel like you might have been in some reservation towards taking action in this area of your world. Okay, because for whatever reason, maybe we were too anxious, maybe the time wasn't right, maybe we needed to do more healing, maybe we weren't sure of certain things. I feel like we finally get to a point where the information comes to us, and it is from a greater perspective of understanding. That's that wise salt we were seeing. You're really connected to the divine. An understanding does come through that you've maybe never considered, that allows to free you. So now you can move out of any stuck energy, you know, like maybe the final piece needed to come. You weren't quite sure how to connect the dot or how to make the first move. And so I feel like if you have been stuck, stagnant, waiting, trying to heal or trying to fully understand, you weren't quite there yet, it's like you finally get there and you finally understand your own power in making it happen. And I feel like no one makes it happen but you. So there is a high energy here of independence, making shit happen, feeling confident in your own ability, and yeah, like having a real sense of self above and beyond anyone else, but in a healthy way. And I feel like it's allowing yourself to be seen and expressed for who you truly are, all facets of you. Like there is no shoving away certain parts of me that you might have in the past, if you had to play small, or if you just didn't see that part of yourself because you were in a community of small fish or people who were just doing it in a certain way, conforming. It's like, no, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. And some days I'm this and some days I'm that. And if I want to be this, then I'm this. Like shamelessly you, seen for who you are, allowing yourself to be who you are and all of your beautiful glory. Because I feel like even we had the Venus pulling through, like there's something very beautiful and magnificent about your energy that's been watered down or boxed up. And in order for you to be on the path of being seen or like manifesting all of yourself to be visible to the world, there has to be you in line with it. And I feel like this is exactly what you come to understand and what you make moves towards. And even then, it's like, I think there is a bit of aligning, course correcting, and movement. And so during this time, I don't think there's like, there is like being alone, because I feel like you have to make the moves you yourself. And I don't think you're bringing much with you in regards to the past at all. But I feel like the energy really is aligned with you manifesting and bringing to you, because the Queen of Wands magnetizes to herself. She doesn't need to chase. She doesn't need to do busy activity. She sits in her throne and manifests through her energy level. So I feel like once you adjust to make the decision or the call towards where you need to go, I feel like you can quickly settle in there. And I feel you're very excited. And I feel like you've been given the wisdom, and you've been given maybe the knowledge that you were waiting, but there's a lot of being connected to the divine and your intuition to make these decisions and to trust yourself, because you know it's coming from the divine. So maybe in the past there might have been some fear around blind trust or making moves or not seeing the future. So it's too much anxiety. But it's like you come out of that state of, you know, maybe being cold feet or not pulling the trigger for whatever reason. And so I feel like this is all about integrating this new essence of self. And with this perfection, like, I feel like you being shamelessly you, faults and all, is a state of perfection, because I feel like your environment, your alignment is perfectly catered to your energy. So it doesn't matter like how many faults or what sort of light you're giving off. Like, as long as you're authentically you, then everything that's sort of around you is like perfectly catered to you, because you're not shying anything away or like dismissing any parts of yourself. I don't know how else to describe it, but you know how like we say no one's perfect, but it's like, yeah, but if you meet the perfect match, it's like they complement your imperfections. And so it could be perfect for you. And this is what I feel is like, this is perfect for you. This gives you balance. This is what it is, accepting others. I feel like not only is it accepting others, but it's like through accepting of yourself and understanding yourself, you can now accept others too, who could come in, who you want to experience, who will allow you to grow, because it's like a mirror of growth. And I feel it brings a lot of balance to your world, a lot of fire, a lot of excitement, you know, and thrill. But I do feel like at times it is having to lean on yourself, you know, until you build that community. It's like you have to be the one to leave the current state and make those independent choices and, you know, rely on yourself and sort of trust your instincts and, you know, that sort of thing. And maybe that was a fear. And now it's like, no, I'm excited to do this. I now connect with the divine. I now know I could trust my intuition. I now embrace this understanding. And so now I'm aligned with who I'm authentically meant to be. And we let ourselves be seen and shine. Okay, so pile number 3, this is your reading. I hope this helped you. If you are called to another pile, I will see you there. All right, bye-bye. Gorgeous angels, pile number 4. You guys picked the Ace of Swords, one of my favorite cards, all about truth, all about clarity. So we're going to look at 4 different areas of your world. Okay, so we'll start with the card that you picked, but swords is all about thought and communication and action. So are we going to have any major epiphanies, realizations, or is there going to be communication coming in for you? We'll look at what's new, okay, or are we maybe continuing on some form of idea, or will there be something we're closing out? Okay, so it's mostly looking at what's new, what's continuing, and sort of what could be closing out depending on what comes through. And then we'll look at the wands area of your world, which is your passions, your desires, any sort of inspired ideas you might have to take action on here. Okay, creativity, could connect back to your career. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles, which is all about finances, career, your practical world, your material world. So there could be definitely overlap here. Okay, and then finally, we'll look at the Ace of Hearts, which is the Cups, which is all about your emotions, relationships. So it could be your intimate love relationships, your friendships, your family relationships, or how you're dealing with your emotional house. So let's take a look at the Ace of Swords first. Any major ideas, revelations? What sort of thoughts will you be entertaining here? Anything new? Any major communications coming in for beautiful pile number 4, Spirit? What's going on with the sword suit here for pile 4? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 4. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 4. Thank you so much, pile 4, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here doing your reading. Any major ideas, epiphanies? Pile 4's thoughts, actions, communications coming in. And we'll pull a card that's going to represent external people or energy in this area of your world that will have an impact on your energy. External energy, external people circumstances. Wow, 2 cards. Okay, let's take a look. So we have the uncreated. Wow, 43, or the number 7. Beautiful potential here. And the void. Wow, these are kind of very similar. You know, it's like unlimited potential with both. Out of nothing, we create something. Okay, wow, unlimited. We have the Page of Cups in reverse. And we have the King of Wands in reverse. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We have the Queen of Cups in reverse. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And finally, we have the Chariot, Cancer. So strong Cancer here. Let's take a look at external energies. Mental tendency, 61, or the number 7, with narcissism, self-obsession, egocentrism, self-love, selfishness, navel-gazing, and self-adoration. Interesting. And then projection, 33. Expulsion from yourself, external reapproach, shifting, victimization, externalization, external attribution. Okay. Let me sit here with this energy, beautiful angels. Okay. I don't think it's been very easy for you guys. Okay. You guys could certainly be dealing with having to balance energies, specifically when it comes to people in your world, because we engage with people all the time, our friends or family. So we'll probably see more when we come to the emotions. Okay. But I feel like there's working with your mind and an understanding that you're going to be really coming to terms with and working with an understanding about your own energy, regardless of who's around you or what's going on. Because I think we might have been more wrapped up with thinking other people might have more power over us, or attributing certain labels or situations with people in a way that have more, dictate more weight than they actually have. And so there's a freedom that comes with this newfound thought. And this freedom comes from realizing your own power. And so once we realize this and come to this full grasp of this, we know that we could create the future that we want. Because I feel like right now, there might be an experience that isn't very pleasant, and we might be at the mercy of whether people get along, whether they're cooperating, whether, you know, and it's like, we quickly realize we're the ones injecting our own energy, and we could be projecting a lot of energy towards situations that we could perpetuate bad experiences. And we realize we don't have to invest. We don't have to deal with, we are actually the creators here. And sometimes when we realize that we are creators, you know, it might make the ego sort of feel bruised. It's like, no, I didn't pull this narcissistic person towards me. And it's like the victimization story. This person did that. That situation did this and that. And that's all victimization. And so, yes, we've had experiences, but we are the master of what world we're creating out there based on our own energy. And so 10 different people can have the exact same experience and come away with 10 different outcomes. Some enjoy it, some don't like it. Some had bad experience, some had good. Some were indifferent. Why would that be? It's because those individuals are all coming in with their own projections. But the experience itself is the experience itself. And so the people we deal with are the people we deal with. We can either see them as bad, good, or whatever. So there is no real bad, good. And I feel like what we're understanding here is this ability we actually have to manifest and create. And what power this gives over us, because I feel like we've been dealing with situations that kept us stuck and blocked in unemotionally satisfying situations, and also situations where it just felt out of our control. And it might have needed to get regulated and balanced. So there's a lot of shadow work in order for us to move and have success and have more balance and engage differently and have different experiences. And this is the type of mental activity that we come to understand. Now, in order to have this sort of understanding, it's kind of the irony of it. We can't be in our mind, because if we're in our mind and we don't know we're in our mind, we start to use the mind to make up stories and understandings that aren't necessarily true. So I feel like there is knowing when we're in our mind, pulling from shadow, pulling from victimization or deficiency, projecting onto situations and people, and knowing the difference. Okay, because that's important. Knowing our own involvement and like separating our own energy so that we know what's our accountability and our involvement and what are other people sort of projecting and injecting into situations. So I feel like you're coming into this sort of understanding, but wherever you've been, I feel has been fairly imbalanced and maybe not having a lot of success. And I feel you're headed towards balance, success, shadow integration, and the uncreated here, because the world's your oyster. Like what you're still meant to create is still undeveloped here. And you can only really develop this thing or create this thing once you're in an energy of knowing you're the manifester. Because as long as we think other people are dictating and calling the shots, we'll never manifest our true potential, what we're supposed to. We're always sort of playing someone else's game, you know? So we're breaking free of the matrix when it comes to how we're engaged with people and situations that haven't been fulfilling. Yeah. And have been getting in the way of you creating potentially something here, because I feel like there is something here that you're going to create out of nothing from being more healed. Okay, so let's take a look at your next area, which is this Ace of Wands. So this is all about inspired action, your passions, your desires. So let's see, pile number 4, spirits in the wand suit. What is it that pile 4 needs to know about their passions, their inspirations, anything they're starting new, anything they're closing out? What do they need to know about the wands area of their world? Their desires. Okay, and then external factors, people, circumstances. There's your card. Let's take a look. So winter, yeah, stuck situations, feeling cold, feeling like things weren't jiving, feeling maybe rejected, feeling left out, feeling like we couldn't plant anything or grow anything. It's barren. We don't have the resources, the right people. It's like, how can I build a garden in the winter? You know, and then we keep blaming the winter. Meanwhile, it's like, hey, wait a minute. I know it could still be winter, but I am in control of how it is that I go and navigate my own energy. I don't have to keep standing there in the winter time. Against nature. So card number 56, and this is 16. And look at the spring. Yeah, things are warming up, exactly what I said. So once we realize our power, we're no longer having to sit in the cold. Things start to thaw out. People start to work with us better, where they were resistant, where things weren't flowing. And we have the Page of Cups in the exact same spot again in the reverse, and the King of Cups in the upright. So we saw the Queen of Cups in reverse in your Ace of Swords spread. So the King of Cups is Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and then the 10 of Wands in reverse. Okay, and then external, we have Collective Plague with 64. So that's the number 10. 10's all about ends of cycles, transformation. It says fundamentalism, conservatism, conformism, integrism, tradition, orthodoxy, and academicism. This is like Hierophant energy, Taurus energy. Okay. Okay. I feel like you guys finally connect to a part of your own emotions here. in a way that allows you to be inspired to change your world from what you can have control over. And this changes your environment where things were stuck to finally being pliable, to things warming up, things turning for the better. Like your whole world starts to shift. Okay. I don't feel like you're having to fight and carry as much as you used to in the past, because I feel in the past we might have been people pleasing. We might have been carrying more than our weight. We might have been taking on other people's accountabilities and responsibility. I feel like there is this no longer doing this because, one, we've already sort of had a revelation or an understanding and done enough shadow work. And this is like the implementation of this understanding that's going to really impact your day in, day out, and what it is that we value and taking it into practical action. So it's not just shadow work that I do, but yet I'm still doing the same actions. It's like, no, shadow work in action. I'm really now implementing what I know, what I've transmuted in way of my victimization story, or my way I was attached to ego belief, or my own sort of projections that I was dealing with. It's like, you're very aware of, this feels like a very like aware pile, you know. It's like I'm now aware of where I was creating resistance for myself, where I was trying to force people or situations that weren't really naturally for me. And so once I release that and I work with the universe, I let go of a heavy burden, because there's no need for me to carry heavy burdens. What's for me doesn't weigh a thing. And so I feel like we're really like connecting to ourselves in a way that allows us to integrate in our now world, so we get different results. And so whatever is closed off here is now opened up. And I feel like it's not only is it opened up, like this is like the King of Cups going from this Page Cups that's blocked to this emotional depths of the King of Cups. So if we weren't connecting to a certain part of ourselves, it's like it's in full force here. We're totally connected. If we were dealing with people who are just not emotionally mature or available or closed off, it's like we now are bringing in, you know, people who are at our depth of maturity when it comes to emotional depth. There's this like no longer carrying the burden. So if you had a problem expressing yourself, like, I don't know, I'm getting like that might have been a heavy burden, you know, because we're trying to cater to other people, or we're still projecting like how we'd be seen. It's like, no, now it's like I have no troubles connecting to my emotions and expressing myself in a way here that is in line with this thing. I don't really see expression so much, but it's like at least a recognition and at least a like opening that channel. Things are warming up. Okay, so this is probably, yeah, this is what I'm seeing. So it's the early stages still, but this is like the potential. And that's why we saw like the uncreated. It's like by opening this door. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so many downloads right now. It hurts my head. So this Ace of Wands is like an immediate spark. Okay. So I think the spark here is the minute you start to switch that mindset, because now we have a better understanding that we're not victim and we have control. It's like that spark of inspiration. And then you start to implement. It's like instantly this spark starts to warm up where things are cold, where we might have been blocked, or where people we were dealing with blocked. It's like now it starts to warm up, and it's like this is the potential of the depth of it. And we're on our way here. We're on our way here, but it's going to flow way better, because now we're not against nature, meaning like we weren't forcing, resisting, coercing, carrying, burdened by it. It's like, oh, my emotions are too heavy to carry or to face or to acknowledge or to understand, you know, or other people are too heavy to carry or understand, or I feel like I'm trying to get them to work with me or something like this. Like it becomes your integration of your everyday. Interesting. Okay, so let's see. The next area of your world here is the Ace of Pentacles, and this is all about your material world, your practical world. So your finances, your career, where you live, how you live. So let's see. The material world, the practical world here for pile number 4, spirits. What are they needing to know about their material practical world? Will they have a new beginning? Are they closing out cycles? What's going to continue or shift here in their practical world? Finances, career, living situations, job. And what do they need to know, Spirit? Pile number 4. And external people, circumstances, energy that impacts your material world. One more, Spirit? No. Okay. Winter again. It's funny. Some of the piles are really like overlapped. So this is whatever you are dealing with impacted like your practical world as well. It was felt very stuck and very cold. Mystical sister, look at this flame lighting up. We had spring, which is like a warmer weather. This is being guided. This is transforming. This is sometimes could be a physical person coming in to guide us. You know, like a divine feminine. It could be our sister. It could be our mother. It could be a really good friend. It could be our divine feminine coming to guide us, warm up the coldness here. Okay, and we were seeing challenge there with opening up heart space or feeling through emotions. So we have the Magician, which is all about communication, manifestation. This is Virgo, Gemini. And we have strength, courage, Leo energy. And then we have the Two of Wands in reverse. And finally, we have laziness with 54. And this is the number 9. Passive attitude, indolence, apathy, inertia, inaction, and sluggishness. Okay, beautiful people. Laziness, winter. Our own involvement in why things were stuck. And at first blush, like I say, we don't like to think we were a part of what was going on. What was going on was our own surrender or acceptance of how things were was like, oh, it's just how it is. But we're surrendering to the fact that we can actually have a great impact in our practical world. Okay, because I feel like maybe things were so stuck that we ended up just giving up on ourselves. But really, we had to have given up on ourselves in order for things to get sort of stuck. Okay, and so I feel like this is the revelation we're having is like we don't have to be stuck. And maybe you weren't really given a reason to move. There was no reason to move. There was no reason to change your practical world. It seemed very stuck and very frozen and very lonely and abandoned and not fruitful or abundant. And so I feel like you're being guided out of this. Like it definitely comes from within because I felt that shadow work, but we had to be heated up and I feel we're being guided. Okay. So if this isn't a person, it's like the divine is acting through certain signs, symbols, synchronicities, dreams, whatever's guiding you through this transformation. Because I feel you've been manifesting this shift. Okay, so you do have a helping hand here. You're the magician making this happen, even though you might be guided. It's like you have to understand your own power in manifesting change comes from within. And this is really what you're identifying to change your practical world that might have been very, very stuck and cold. So you're facing your courage. You're facing fears. You're understanding about how to make moves and decisions and utilize your tools to create different outcomes. And so maybe where we weren't having any courage or feeling very stuck and feeling like there were no choices or no options or no, like our path was just closed because things are solidly frozen here and we weren't really fired up to move down a path. This pathway is opening up. I feel like we're being inspired to take a look at why we're stuck and how we're stuck and make changes. And we're seeing things different here with this rainbow. So our perspective changes. We're seeing things from different angles or ways of being because in the past we might have had one sort of set mind that was creating one sort of outcome. But I feel like there's a fire, there's a passion, there's an animal instinct to make moves or make change or feel passion again, feel driven to change. understand our own ability and what we do have within our capability to foster change. But I feel like it's in regards to where in your world you're stuck, because I feel like you've been stuck maybe at a crossroads for some time. And instead of making a decision to progress or further yourself, you've been complacent or comfortable, or just, this is lazy. But I feel like, and that could certainly be the case, because there might have been no real reason or understanding you have to want to move or make a choice. It's like, I'm happy where I'm at in some way, but I don't feel you were very happy. I feel like things were stuck and frozen and cold. And we might have not have realized until we felt the warmth. And once we feel the warmth, we understand how cold and stuck we really are. And once we actually understand how much power we actually have within our own tools, we start to want to manifest different things for us. And we have to have the courage to do this. And I feel we do, because we start to understand something about ourselves, the truth about ourselves, start to see ourselves different. So very interesting. Let's take a look at your final sort of area, which is this Ace of Hearts. This is your emotions. This is relationship. So it could be your intimate love relationships, could be your family relationships, your friendships. It could be just how you're dealing with your emotions. If you'll have any new beginnings, closing out any cycles. Let's see, what does Spirit want to communicate in regards to pile number 4? Beautiful angels. Pile number 4 in their emotional body. Oh my goodness, Ash. Spinning around. I do feel another one. So we have 33. Wow. 33 is a master number. Reproduction, creativity, humor, Christ consciousness. Like I said, someone's waking up here. Joy and harmony. So Ash is having to burn down, transmute energy that's not working in order to build up. So we have Ash. What else? Spirit. Pile number 4 in the cups realm of their world, their emotions, their relationships. What wants to be communicated for pile number 4? Ooh, I thought this was the tarot. Isn't that interesting? I was about to use it like the tarot. I should have had to do that, but let's see. We'll pull tarot. Emotional area of pile number 4's world. Yeah, take them all, Spirit said, but this way instead. And I do feel there's one more here. External. Spirit is saying to leave that. Okay. External energies. External people. External factors. External circumstances in regards to emotions. Okay. Interesting. Spirit is funny. So we have Ash. You guys, I'm going to cry. We went from winter, spring, summer. All because of our realization of our authenticity and pulling that truth out of the ground. What's been very stuck. Like he's pulling the sword out of that stuck rock. It's like I'll remain stuck here until I have a reason to pull the truth out, a reason to embrace my authenticity. And I feel like it started with this. And this is the one you guys picked, because I think unless we understand ourselves, unless we have that thought, it's really no thought, but the thought of who we truly are, and that we have the ability to really be in charge of our own energy and who we let in and that sort of thing, could, we not have this cascade to get to summer. And I feel like in order to get to summer, we really have to do away with whatever's not there. Like I'm really feeling tower energy of like dissolution of what doesn't stand, and like really transmuting negative energies or patterns or habits in order for there to be growth. I'm also feeling health from this tree. So we might have had unhealthy habits, unhealthy people around us, unhealthy vices, unhealthy choices. It wasn't allowing there to be growth, health, stability in a healthy, luscious way. We couldn't have growth. It wasn't fertile ground. But here I feel a fertile ground where there was desolate. Lots of healing in the emotional realm here. So 55 could be a significant number, but that isn't a master number. Change. is the only constant, divinely orchestrated change. Look at that. So we were stuck, we were winter frozen, and the divine, through that mystical flame we were seeing, guided us out of a stuck situation in order to get us out of rigidity, stuff of upper lip, harshness, OCD, austerity, I can't say that, austerity, inflexibility, and intolerance. Okay, let's keep going. So we see the Queen of Swords in reverse. That could certainly be the stiff upper lip, harshness. Okay, and we have the Page of Swords, observation, early stages of understanding, communication, 10 of Cups in reverse, and the Moon, fears, emotions, subconscious, and judgment in reverse. And finally, external circumstances and people. We have 83, or the number 11, highly spiritual number with integration, hyper creativity, accepting one's emotions, existing by oneself, originality, resourcefulness, standing out, self-knowledge. Okay, so this is all about yourself. I feel like you could certainly be shifting in a relationship because of the fact that you're shifting emotionally for yourself. Wherever you are desolate, you're now finding health, and you can grow to a beautiful, stable, healthy, emotional person that could be relied on in relationship. People can trust your emotional depth and health, where in the past, I don't know that was the case. Okay, I feel like in the past, we might have not have really connected or understood ourselves enough to provide balance, or enough to be ready to have a relationship long-term with the 10 of Cups. This is you and someone else coming together to build a happily ever after. You know, the potential might have not have ever been realized or accepted or seen. It's like I can see and understand and finally observe this part that's been very shut or blocked, or I just didn't have desire for it, understand it, or I don't know, there's a block here in your energy. It was desolate. So there's accepting one's emotions, where maybe there was a lot of fear or not seeing or understanding yourself. So does this mean you fully understand your emotions? No, this means finally I'm pointing my nose in the right direction of understanding and observing myself, where I was led by fear, or I can actually see my emotions now, maybe for the first time, rather than shutting them down or not accepting them. It's now I have more self-knowledge about my subconscious fears, but they're still not fully, like I said, it's the early stages, so we still don't fully know, what's lurking here in the shadow of our subconscious. We're on a journey to explore emotions, but I feel like wherever we were shut down, wherever we were not seeing, whatever was fearful or like unknown, and keeping it that way, it's now I'm tired of being barren. I'm tired of it not being fruitful. I'm tired of it not allowing me to feel healthy about my own emotions. And like, look at these two different energies. This is beautiful. Like summer is all about fun and health, and like our skin feels better in the sun, like we feel healthy, we feel vibrant. I feel like your emotions were a big part of your energy and how you were dealing with all these areas of your world. So I feel like dealing with your emotional body, connecting to your emotions, understanding your subconscious here allows you to integrate a piece of self-knowledge here, so that you can start to finally understand yourself and understand what potential you could certainly build here for yourself that you want, without feeling blocked or uncertain or not clear or just like bitter or angry or like inflexible, like maybe it's like we didn't get along with a lot of people, or maybe it's like, why don't people like me, or why does it not work out, or having a very rigid way of how we engage or what we want to see in a relationship that was really sort of getting in the way. And the fact that we saw narcissists, like we might have had narcissistic tendencies, or maybe we were just drawing in a lot of narcissistic people, but it seemed like whatever the energy was, it wasn't allowing there to be beautiful health. And I feel like this is what we're exploring. So Yeah, but there's still, I'm going to pull a card here because I think there's still a question I have here. Why is this Judgment in reverse here, spirits? And maybe that's why we were going to use those cards. The Three of Wands. We still don't know which direction fully we're going to move because this is the card of expansion. This is the card of getting on the ship in order to grow our world. So we had a very limited, stuck sort of way. And I feel like once it thaws out, we can totally move forward and expand and have growth in an area of our world. But I feel like we don't know where we want to move just yet until we explore emotions further. So, but I feel this is a new thing, or finally we're able to, for some reason, connect to this. So, or connect to the subconscious. Why is the moon here? It's definitely representing your emotions, but it could definitely be the subconscious or the fears. Why is this why is this moon here? So that's Cancer, Pisces. And we have the Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, the Fool. So we can have a new beginning without the baggage. So some of you guys had poor experience whenever you had a bad relationship or a rough childhood, people around you that just were shitty or whatever. It created an understanding you had, which projected into, like I said, your reality, which we finally realized it's the only reality we've been creating, and you have power to change that. You want a new beginning. And the only way to have this new beginning is to connect to your own emotions. So I feel like this is driving you. You want to start something new and fresh. Like, this is beautiful energy. This is like childlike wonder, you know? Exploring in the summer is like we're not worried. We're not worried about what if it doesn't work, or, you know, like the child playing outside is not thinking about school the next day or the bills he has to pay. He's just kind of running barefoot and having fun, being free. This is Fool energy too. I feel like we're able to be free, have fun, trust ourselves to have this new beginning, where in the past we feared it, we didn't understand ourselves, or we didn't know that we needed this type of an energy. We might have suppressed it. Okay, but just because we're in this energy now doesn't mean we know what direction, because the Fool has no fucking idea where he's going. He could fall off the cliff, but it's like being open to what the universe sort of throws in front of him. But I feel like there is a desire to expand and to move forward. We just don't know or see just yet. Okay, but let's see, what's this Ten of Cups in reverse? Because that could be a full potential here of, you know, a relationship with another. Seven of Cups. Yeah, we might have not have known or seen or understood. It was too murky, too unclear. How can I get full fulfillment here in an ideal sort of relationship? It's a lot of noise we got to clear through, you know? And maybe we want to explore before we move on or decide here, because there's a lot of options here that we might have to go through in order to get clear and understand. Because not every cup with the Seven of Cups is going to lead to fulfillment. Some cups are duds. Some cups are shitty experiences. I think you want to choose wisely, and you don't want to just pick any cup to be your long-term. And so I feel like this is why we're kind of stalling in some ways, because we want to make sure we pick the right cup. We have a plan of action. We move in the right direction, but we're working on being youthful, trusting ourselves, connecting to our emotions, facing any of the fears that kept us not trusting the universe to move forward. It's like, this is what we're slowly starting to see and understand, you know, and communicate. We can actually communicate rather than maybe be held back here. So I do want to pull here because I am being called. I didn't do this for any of the others, but I'm going to put these back in case they want to come back out. What message needs to come through for pile number 4 in regards to their energy? Suffering with avoidance, emotional pain, frustration, sadness, boredom, limitations, and restrictions. Definitely what I was feeling from your energy. Ordinariness, conformism, platitude, routine, dullness, monotony, and mediocrity. Prostitution, degrading behavior, depravity, scam, pimping, belittlement, and manipulation. Oh my goodness, don't take this literal, okay, but it's the type of energy we have here. Work, realism, effort, task, duty, labor, working on self. what did I say about the shadow work? So we were really selling our soul in some way without realizing, you know, the more we invest in people and situations that don't reflect the higher state of our potential, it's like a form of prostitution. Like, why would I hang around or invest or stay in situations that are suffering and routine or dull and aren't fulfilling? It's because I need to connect to my emotions. Rigidity. I knew it was gonna come up again. So I put it back in there. Yeah, this was getting in the way. So we're doing a lot of shadow work. Oh my goodness, mic drop, joy. So this is why Spirit wanted me to use these. So it's the storyline here, beautiful people. Shadow work, healing a lot of this stuff. Okay, the root cause of your suffering is because of our own energy. This isn't putting blame. This isn't saying fault. This is nothing. Like, our suffering is always a result of our own energy. And we can say, I had no control over this breakup or that or this or the other. And it's like, well, pain happens. Yes, pain happens to everyone, but suffering is a choice. We don't have to hang on to victimization and suffering. We choose. Okay, and I feel like we might have conformed or stuck to the suffering story or stayed in that state of the wintertime story, selling our soul, hanging out with narcissists, maybe being a narcissist, maybe just disconnected from our emotions. I don't know, manipulation. There's a lot of not good energy here. Okay, the only way to get out of not good energy is to do the work. There's no other way. Okay, but once we realize that it's not even us anyway, and we connect with our essence, there's nothing to really get rid of. But we have to be conscious of it. And so I feel like realizing this, you know, and working on self, and then it's like, okay, like I am actually a manifester here, and knowing like I've been, you know, the cause of my sort of suffering here and the types of relationships that I was getting involved with. And if I want joy, I have to align myself with joy. So lots of projects, enthusiasm, pleasure, freedom, optimism, good mood. So beautiful people. Where you didn't have options, you now have options. Where you didn't have health, you have health. Where you didn't have joy and optimism, where you didn't have freedom emotionally, this is what you're opening up by doing this shadow work and this self-revelation here. Okay, just working on yourself. And only you can work on yourself. No one else can do this for you. So we got the Leo energy here. I'm getting heavy Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy. And yeah, more Aquarius. So gorgeous angels, I know you're in a state of suffering or have been. I feel like you've been working hard or will be working hard if you haven't. And this is what's going to transform in your emotional world. And so your relationships will definitely change. And your own connection to your emotions is really what's going to be the shift here. Seeing it through more objective eyes rather than through the pain body, you know, the victimization story. So this is your reading, beautiful angels. I hope this helped you. I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Welcome to the disclaimer. Don't get fooled by people scamming you in the comments section. If you're interested in a private reading, all my contact information is in the description box. And there you will find my website. And that is only through my website can you book private readings at this time. And for those of you guys new to the tarot, tarot does not predict your future. Tarot is not set in stone. Tarot is reflecting back to you a state of consciousness that is something you can either resonate with or not. And so it's very important that you are in tune with your intuition so that you know whether the pile you're picking, the information coming through, is reflecting back to you your own intuition, state of consciousness, your subconscious. And this will be the best way for you to know that the message is indeed meant for you. So if your intuition is not clear or it's cloudy, then you might be tapping into the wrong pile, or information might be coming through that is not dictating whatever your circumstance situation is. So it is important that you work with the divine to develop your intuition. Best way is to sit through the card layout, which I do include with most of my readings, where you can ask the divine to come up with what you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether the pile makes sense for you. And so you can ask the divine to show you those signs, symbols, synchronicities, either throughout your dreams or throughout your day, and certainly throughout the reading, so that you can be assured that the messages you're tapping into are the right messages for you. If you are drawn to multiple piles with the pick a card readings, listen to your intuition. A lot of times energy is interconnected, and in this channel, a lot of times all my piles could be interconnected. So do not feel obligated to only select one or all or none. It is definitely up to you and your intuition. If you are in a pile and it is not resonating, there is no need to continue listening to that pile. If it doesn't resonate, sometimes it gives us perspective so that we know what is resonating for us. So even piles that do not resonate could provide some insight. Keep in mind that if you have strong energy in your presence, other people, situations, that could be quite heavy energetically or strong energetically, spiritually heavy, those might pull through the pile. So it might not be your energy that I'm picking up, but your situation, your circumstance, or people that you're dealing with. It's up to you to keep an open mind in regards to what it is that I'm connecting to, if it is resonating to your story. Do not take any messages that don't belong to you. There will be specific messages that come through for certain individuals, even though the pile might be your pile, but the specific message does not connect to you. Do not take those messages. Only take the ones that resonate for you. It should be the overall energy in that pile that is resonating to your story. It is the gist of that energy that should be overall the story or the energy of the situation, circumstance, or the person that I'm tapping into. If you are unprepared to listen to difficult messages, messages that offer healing, messages that might provide someone else's perspective that we're not quite ready to listen to, it might be a good time to come back when we're fully healed or prepared to listen to messages. My commitment to you is to read the cards with transparency and as much compassion as I can. It is difficult for me to provide you with any guidance in the comments section without knowing your specific situation. A lot of times the piles do come reversed and they might not match the exact description of the reading. And although I am posting the description of that reading, my intention is to always deliver that in which the description talks about. But sometimes spirit comes through with the mere reflection of either something objectively pulling through, some guidance pulling through, or something completely unrelated. And that is not up to me, and I certainly don't select what comes through. But Spirit knows when you will click on whichever video in order for you to hear the messages that are being pulled through. It might just be for one person, and that one person was needing to hear it. So if you are frustrated with that, it's early to tell in a reading whether it is resonating or not, especially if we've sat through the card layout. Again, do not feel obligated to take any messages that aren't for you. You can certainly switch your own situation, circumstance, or energy based on the reading you get. So if a reading does resonate, but you want a different outcome, then utilize the reading in order for you to make conscious choices, different decisions, guide the energy in a specific way that you want it to go. This is why we utilize the tarot and the oracle cards in order for us to be conscious of the energy and make shifts. Energy shifts very fast, and it is formless, and it is not time-bound, meaning I could be tapping into present, future, or past situations. If an energy feels like it's an old energy, it's past, you might want to go check out another pile. There could be one that's talking to your current situation, or we could be looking at a future state of consciousness. These readings might not make any sense to you at the time because it is beyond your level of comprehension. You might want to come back to these readings at a later date. That's why all these readings are timeless unless otherwise stated. And so, as I mentioned, it is up to you, depending on when you click on the reading, to know whether it is useful information to help guide you. All of my readings offer a level of healing, whether it is understanding someone else's perspective, if it is understanding our own perspective, tapping into subconscious energies, or looking at objective situations from the point of view of the creator. All information helps us to put the pieces of the puzzle together so that we can make better decisions when we're involved with difficult or challenging people or circumstances. This is the reason I do the tarot. I do not do the tarot so that we can dwell in hurts and in pain. So if we're suffering, we're allowed to feel how we feel. Pain is inevitable. We all suffer from pain, but the suffering is certainly up to us. And my mission is that we release suffering. Undue suffering does not need to persist. If we choose to suffer, it is because we're making a decision to stay in the suffering. The choice is always ours to get out of suffering. And so sometimes we don't like to hear what it is that's being communicated because it might release us or relieve us from stories, from comfort zones, from pains and clutches that we've used in the past in order for us to feel safe, in order for us to remain in our comfort zone. And as I mentioned, healing isn't always easy. So it is sometimes very difficult for us to acknowledge truths because sometimes a comforting lie is what we choose to believe in. I do not feed comforting lies. I will not read information or readings here that provide you a level of comfort and water the truth down. I don't want you to leave here feeling a false sense of security, but I do want you to leave with a sense that I justified your own intuition, your own energy and suspicion, or whatever you were wanting to confirm with the divine. I also want to make mention that I am not everybody's reader. So at times my voice is annoying, even to myself. And sometimes I deliver messages that aren't quite as concise as they can be. Spirit knows which words I will use in order to channel the information that my soul tribe, the people being drawn to the reading, need to hear. So those words are crafted by the design. I don't spend a whole bunch of time trying to analyze. I do know when it feels right, and I do know that sometimes it's struggle to come up with a word that can define energy. Energy is not words. Energy can't fit into words. And so sometimes these readings could be a lot of repeating the same thing as I'm trying to find the right word. And if you've tried channeling, you'll notice that a lot of people who channel, they do repeat a lot of words until the right word comes through. Sometimes readings, unfortunately, don't make sense until the very end. And we might go down one path only to find that the answer was something else, or that the reading was something else completely. I don't intend this. Some days my channeling is very strong, and other days it is difficult for me to follow. And sometimes if it is difficult for me to follow, it can make complete sense on your end, but the delivery on my end might sound a little chaotic or confused because I don't understand everyone's situation and circumstance. Keep in mind, these are general readings, and these readings touch a lot of people, a lot of viewers. If you don't connect with my style, if you don't connect with the readings, then I do suggest you go find another reader. There's many on YouTube. And it could just be the reading or the pile wasn't your fit. So you might want to try another reading from my playlist. And I do hope you guys stay. And I do hope to connect with you guys. I do read all your comments. I do try to reach out to you guys, all of you guys. And if I don't, rest assured, I do see your comments. And I send so much love to you guys. I appreciate you guys very much. And I'm so honored to do this journey with you guys. Bless you and God bless.